Right, another one of these champion spotlights. This is all about Pyscho-Man, who is a tech. He's basically a robot. He's a little baby man is what he is. Although I have seen some people on Reddit call him something very different, especially by some of his, let's just say, facial similarities to something else. So let's just call him a little baby man, because effectively he is a small man inside a big robotic body. Hence why I call him a little baby man. So the main fundamentals with Pyscho-Man is very much like it is with the comic books, with his control box and being that of hate, fear and doubt. Hate is associated with heavy attacks, fear is with special attacks, and doubt is with blocking. When opponents perform the action that's tied to its current mode, they're inflicted with the concussion, and Pyscho-Man gains power from striking them during or after that action. His special attacks also trigger different effects depending on what mode he's in. Now, if you've seen Saturday's video, you'll know a bit more about this champion and the character's story arc and its association with Fantastic Four, his villainy with that, and also the extent of how this control box is used against different foes that he might go up against and what he inflicts. So this is a good kind of like nod to that, the story arc, source material, and yeah, I'm well up for this. So one of the good things about the champion is that when he inflicts concussion on the enemy and say abilities fail, he's able to get like additional things like heal block or power lock. Also power control. In doubt mode, Pyscho-Man special attacks inflict a variety of different effects and control the opponent's power. And since those special attacks are also unblockable, he gains power from hitting the opponent's block. It's very easy to hit the opponent with them, which is going to be really handy for the likes of was it called? All or Nothing node. Yeah, I finally remembered. Yeah, there's a lot of things to remember this game, but any champion that's quick to build power and then like having this champion to then suppress it is really good against Doctor Strange, Sorcerer Supreme, Hyperion, iffy one because it's class disadvantage, but look, most people do use class disadvantage stuff against certain champions just to kind of say, like, you know, here's an option. It's maybe taking down something on a lane. That's usually the reasons why. Now, it looks like concussion potency is going to have to be a key one, especially if enemies have got buffs. But apart from that, I think the most interesting thing will be where the control box is, how it's accessed and stuff like that. So control box, Pyscho-Man carries a control box of 3 modes. We know that. Select emotion at all times. The control box starts with hate mode. While fighting as an attacker, Pyscho-Man cycles to the next mode whenever the 4th light attack lands and struck into the block. I like that. I prefer that way of cycling through than other methods, especially if you're doing something to chain. Where we've had it recently, where there's been like a cycling through, it just hasn't felt like it was good enough. I'm just trying to remember which champion it was that you cycled through, and it just felt like it's better to kind of like do it in a way like this, where you just go like tap, 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 special attack, or something to that nature, as opposed to any other way that's kind of overly complicated, like end an attack on this, and then you get this. I think I prefer them than I prefer some of the other ones, especially sometimes you overshoot and get it wrong. I think it's Jubilee that was one kind of similar to that, where it just felt like you were... It's a great champion, nothing against it. It's just the times that you end up watching the top left-hand corner, and that's going to be the biggest thing. Is it going to be one of those champions where you get annoyed by watching what's going on the top left as opposed to like the fight and keeping yourself alive? So continuing on, while fighting as defender, Pyscho-Man cycles to the next mode when the opponent fills a bar of power. If the bar was filled, so you kind of, well, I don't know if I agree with that. Was filled during Pyscho-Man's special attack, it cycles after the attack is finished. So if you're getting forced to go into something based on the enemy getting a bar of power, not sure about that, but we'll have to see in principle and when in practice this champion is put into for review CCP wise, or maybe kind of like, you know, people get to play the champion upon release. Do bear in mind you will be getting a free 3-star Pyscho-Man this month as part of some special abilities, so watch out for that. Special objectives, sorry, not abilities. Next up, on control box, the full minutiae of what you get. So with hate, opponents fight more aggressively and suffer passive concussion during heavy charge and heavy attack, reducing ability actually by -75%. Helpful. Fear, opponents are 70% more likely to use a special attack, suffer passive concussion during special attacks. It's handy, especially with a bit of power control, and at times it's kind of acts as a little taunt. So it's kind of like fears like taunt. So that can be helpful. Especially at times when, with sometimes these builds of event quests, champions just don't throw special attacks. And also with other like endgame content, I find that at times Kabam builds stuff that seems to be very much specific to the node. So if it's Bane, you find the champion hardly ever kind of like being receptive to being attacked, or different kinds of nodes where the interaction is you have to hit them after X amount of time in order to get something removed from you. Opponents fight more defensively and are 70% likely to use a special attack, less likely to use a special attack and suffer passive concussion, while block, reducing ability actually minus 25%. So the developer says these abilities are the main way Pyscho-Man controls and punishes his opponents. Hate, fear, and doubt make it more likely for opponents to use heavy, special, or block actions respectively, and any abilities they would trigger from these are for less likely to occur. The fact that the opponents are more likely to use special attacks is also useful for all or nothing node, even when the opponent is taunt immune. So that can work out well as well. So like it, very helpful. This is where the additional parts to these different types of abilities around control box come in. So hate, striking the opponent while they are executing or recovering from a heavy charge or heavy attack grants Pyscho-Man 18% of a bar of power. And then fear, striking the opponent while they are recovering from a special attack grants Pyscho-Man 25% of a bar of power. And then doubt, strike the opponent while they are blocking grants Pyscho-Man 8% of a bar of power. Dev notice this is the second major component of the control box modes. When the opponent does this action that matches his current mode, striking the opponent during or right after the action will grant Pyscho-Man a significant burst of power. When playing well and successfully manipulating and punishing his opponents, Pyscho-Man is able to trigger his special attacks far more often. I mean, that's all well and good in principle, but it's again down to like the build, the development of the game. If Kabam allow like, you know, certain interactions, like if you are able to punish after a special attack, then that's fine. Punish after a heavy attack, again, that's fine, but you also have to kind of like watch out for how that will be dealt with the other end. Is the AI going to attack you whilst you're mid run? Is it a case you have a window of opportunity and no window of opportunity? It's just making that things very, very clear. Like, you know, can I wait for my first attack to be a heavy attack? Or can I go into a block first and then do a heavy attack? Or do I have to kind of like strike out or go from a special attack, striking the opponent while they're recovering from a special attack? So they do their special attack, you do the punishment. The same thing with while they're recovering from it. So you do charge a heavy attack, and then it's like, right, okay, you can then, as soon as you kind of like hit out against it, that's when you gain it. If that's the case, it's very easy like that, then it's fine. I think the special attack one, when you're trying to punish, that becomes an issue based on the AI interaction, which, let's face it, a lot of us have that problem. Also, if you want to bring your Corvus into SP2 this fall, well, might be a bit of a problem, because Pyscho-Man's mechanical exoskeleton causes opponents to suffer minus 1,400 critical rating during their special attacks. And that's just based on his robotic suit, which seems to be a bit kind of good for those kind of things. Makes it difficult for special attacks to land critical hits against him. So big yellow numbers are off the table, and as well, like, no Cosmic Ghost Rider. So, yeah, people might have to be a bit inventive of what champions they use against this, but I'm sure we'll find plenty of options there. He's hashtag metal, so Magneto maybe? Okay, now let's go over the special attacks and the extra things that come with it. So with being in different types of modes, so if he's in hate, he inflicts the opponent with shock debuff, nice. Inflicts an additional shock for each fury buff on Pyscho-Man. Okay. Fear, inflict the opponent with a cowardice debuff, reducing special attack damage. Nice. And then the attack passively unblockable and inflicts the opponent with a power drain debuff. SP1, nice. Nice power control, nice, I like it. And Dev saying use SP1 or SP2 in hate mode in the way that best damage is the best damage for Pyscho-Man, whereas fear provides utility and doubt provides power control. Also, note that additional shocks are inflicted for each fury buff, which is especially matters for his SP2. And the SP2 itself is that Pyscho-Man gains a fury buff for 14.5 seconds, increasing attack rating. Nice. These fury buffs refresh when a new one is gained and when Pyscho-Man cycles modes. Nice. Inflicts the opponent with a heal block if you got fear, and doubt is the attack is passively unblockable and inflicts the opponent with a special lock debuff. Okay. And anyway, the fury buffs from this attack are refreshed whenever Pyscho-Man rotates through his modes. So regularly rotating through your modes will allow you to stack multiple fury buffs. Oh, I like it. Oh man, that is nice. Fury stacking, switching modes. It's actually like a little bit more easier to do. Especially because isn't it like you do like 4, you end on a light attack or 4 light attacks and it's like switches modes. Man, I'm interested to like just try this champion out. Looking forward to that. What does this SP3 do then? Because it's all good so far. Inflicts a stun, debuff, and power lock passive for 3 seconds, so you can quick snap out of the SP3. During the opponent's next special, they set off a passive concussion, reducing ability accuracy and passive weakness, reducing attack rating. I mean, it's fine, but I think like SP1, SP2 it's for me one of the more interesting ones to do, especially if you want some damage from this. But as well, you have that option to switch to do power control and have a bit of utility. I like it. Signature ability time now, and it's whenever an opponent's ability fails to trigger, they suffer from one of Pyscho-Man's concussions. They inflicted with a heal block. It's not, these are helpful stuff. But have so at least they are power locked for 6 seconds instead. Whenever the opponent heals while heal blocked or gains power while power locked, Pyscho-Man gains bar. Wow, okay. I like the signature ability a lot. Personally, I like this one as much as I like Super Scroll. I just think that it's going to be a case of who does the numbers. But if you want power control options and as well some damage dealing, Microverse Overlord and Pyscho-Man can be a very nice combination. But as well, when it comes to signature ability synergies, even there's some good stuff there. Pyscho-Man's ability actually reduction. Actually, yeah, I mean, I guess it's okay. Actually, it's not amazing. Pyscho-Man's heavy attacks grant non-stacking armor up buff, increasing armor. Well, that's cool. Yeah, I mean, there's some nice stuff there to look out for. So it's all cool. It is what it is, and yeah, so that has been an overview of Pyscho-Man, the little baby man. But it looks like a little baby man's actually got a bit of stonkingly good power to him and could be nice for damage output. An interesting tech coming very soon. What are your thoughts in the comment section? Like, my thoughts on this is that I like what I see on paper, but this will be down to what is actually like when it comes to the game. It's good to see a rotation champion that is not as not so as complex or as well frustrating as some of the other ones that have been put in the last 12 months. But it does seem that this is a bit of a weird champion to play with from a physical sense of what they look like, but I like the way the power control works, the concussion, the interaction with various different champions could be fun. But yeah, it would just be a case of like what a champion's like. What's the attack outward like with the Fury stacking of the SP2 and as well the switching of modes? That'll be another key thing as well. And yeah, hope for the best with this champion. Got to. Thank you very much for watching this video. Please check out some other content located up and around here. And I'll see you all very soon. Bye-bye for now.